what's Auburn getting in Payton Thorne if he does end up joining that quarterback room? Is he the guy that's going to be the starting quarterback instantly when he walks on campus?
Yeah, I would say that Payton Thorne would be your starting quarterback. Again, going back to 2021, the year that got Mel Tucker that huge extension, the $95 million, Payton Thorne was really good. Now, I think a lot of that was based on Kenneth Walker and the success he had.
Right, but Auburn's got some running backs.
Yeah, they've got some running backs. Now, the difference, though, Payton Thorne doesn't have that unique skill set of being able to run the football.
I've got the numbers. I'm curious what you think the numbers are. I'm looking, Lance, he's played in 17 at Michigan State. I'm just trying to do quick math here. 29, 30 games. Let's just say he's played in 30 games, all right? I don't know if that's the exact number. It's pretty close. 30 games. How many total rush yards do you think Payton Thorne has in 30 games?
I would say that he has 48 rush yards.
112.
270. So more than both of you. 6 rush touchdowns in his career. 6 rushing touchdowns, 270 rush yards in roughly 30 games.
Yeah.
And in most games, he's positive yardage in rushing. Now, there's some he's negative. So, obviously, they've had trouble protecting him in those games.
To me, Payton Thorne
I don't know that you call a whole lot of runs for him.
No, but a guy that, if you're looking at an accurate quarterback, much more accurate than any options you've got right now.
Than what Robby Ashford has showed us to this point. Not that Robby can't get better at throwing the football. He threw a perfect pass in the Iron Bowl, a touchdown pass that had scouts wowing about it. No doubt about that.
But he's got 3 times the experience of Robby Ashford.
That's it. I think Payton Thorne brings to the quarterback room a comfort for the Auburn coaches. And maybe Casey Thompson will or could do that as well. There's a chance Auburn could end up with both of those guys, right? And let them battle it out at some point. They could pull a Lane Kiffin and just stack the quarterback room. They could pull a Nick Saban and stack the quarterback room. I don't know what's going to happen, but Thorne brings a guy who's gotten you in and out of huddles for 2 years in the Big Ten and a guy who looks like he can handle big situations.
I will just say this. If you got this Payton Thorne, the year that he got Mel Tucker a contract, well, he didn't get Mel Tucker a contract extension.
Kenneth Walker did.
Yeah, Kenneth Walker got Mel Tucker a big contract.
But Payton Thorne was good that year.
Good. I was going to say, if you got this Payton Thorne, so for those of you that do not remember, they started the season undefeated. They lost at Purdue 40-29, and then they got smoked at Ohio State. But here was Payton Thorne's line that year, and you tell me, if you're an Auburn fan, would you take this today sight unseen? 60% completion percentage.
Yes.
3,232 yards, 32-32.
Passing?
Yes.
Yes.
No, Jim, he did not rush for 3,000 yards.
I'm just saying. Did you mean 32?
That's not total. That's
3,222 yards.
32-32. Okay. 3,232 yards.
Yes.
27 touchdowns, 10 picks. As an Auburn fan, you take that right now, don't you?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
I think you even take his production from last year.
I'll give you last year in a moment, but that year he added 82 rushes for 181 yards and 4 touchdowns. So 31 total touchdowns, 3,300-plus total yards. I won't even talk about the record. I mean, they were 10-2 with him, obviously, but you would take those numbers, I think. So Lance says you would take last year. Here was last year passing for Payton Thorne. 62% completion percentage, 2,679 yards, 19 touchdowns, 11 picks. Fewer touchdowns, more picks, but still 19-11. Probably better than you're going to get out of Robby Ashford, I would think.
I mean, last year out of Ashford, you got 14 total touchdowns.
Yeah.
And you go back to 2021, you got 31 total touchdowns.
So I think either year he gave you, you would take. Now, again, that one year where I gave you his best numbers in their best year, they had Kenneth Walker behind him. I don't know that Auburn's got Kenneth Walker. I like Jarquez Hunter, but I don't think he's Kenneth Walker. So, he had a really good running back behind him, which helped his passing game tremendously, obviously. I think if you got either stat lines there as an Auburn fan out of Payton Thorne, you take that.
Yeah, I would be excited if I'm an Auburn fan if I get Payton Thorne at this point.
Okay, Milkman 256, do this for me because Michigan State, they were in the tough division.
Sure.
So give me what he looked like against Ohio State and against Michigan State and against Penn State.
You want to do the last 2 years?
Yeah, last 2 years.
Well, let's start with Washington. Don't forget they went to Washington last year, who was a top 10 team at the time.
Okay.
30 of 42, 323, 3 touchdowns and a pick, and a loss 39-28 to Washington.
That's a good day, though.
That is a good day.
Yeah, he doesn't play defense.
They hosted Ohio State this year. They lost this game 49-20. He was 11 of 18, 113 touchdown and a pick. You can't have that.
Yeah.
But again, they're at Michigan last year. They lost 29-7. He was 17 of 30, 215 touchdown and a pick. They were at Penn State. He was 24 of 43, 229 touchdown and a pick. Those aren't great numbers against great competition. The year they were so good. Let's do their good year now.
Yeah. I mean, this would be a like talent because you got quality running back, quality run game.
They played fewer good teams, but they played Michigan at home, that controversial 37-33 win. But it wasn't controversial on his part, really. It was the refs. 19 of 30, 196, 0 touchdowns, 2 picks. What Michigan couldn't do in that game was stop the run. Kenneth Walker had, I think, 260 in that game or something like that. So
I mean, he was the steal of the portal that year.
At Ohio State that same year, they were number 6 at the time. They lost 56-7. He was 14 of 36, 158, a touchdown and no picks. Penn State that year, they won 30-27, 19 of 30, 268, 2 touchdowns and a pick. They played Pitt in the bowl game. They won 31-21. He was 29 of 50, 354, 3 touchdowns and a pick.
I wouldn't throw Pitt into that conversation.
Well, they were 13 at the time. That's why I did. And don't
Pitt
forget,
was good.
Pitt played. They won the ACC.
So with the what Milkman's pointing out, like SEC competition, what Auburn would have to beat to win the SEC West, he was very pedestrian.
He wasn't great. No, I mean, I'll give you that. He was not great.
And chances are you go back and look at Tyler Buckner and probably find the same thing if he ends up being the quarterback at Alabama.
You just don't have enough starts out of Tyler Buckner.
Yeah,
I mean, that's the problem with that.
Let's look at Robby Ashford against top-notch talent.
I mean,
okay, so against Alabama, 11 of 23 for 77 yards.
But he ran for a lot.
He ran for 121, 2 touchdowns. Against, I mean, who else was really good last year? Georgia.
A Georgia team, they play in a rivalry game.
13 of 38, 34% completion.
Number one, you can't have him throwing 38 times. I mean, that was the problem there. They couldn't run the football.
Against LSU, 19 of 38, 337, 2 touchdowns and a pick.
His best game to me was Ole Miss last year. Give me Ole Miss last year for Robby Ashford.
That was the team's best game last year.
I thought it was his, too.
No, he was awful against Ole Miss. He was.
That was the one where he had the sideline incident, right?
Well, no, he got benched, but he came back, and I thought he played well after he came back.
Running the football, 8 of 17 passing, 140, 0 touchdowns, 2 interceptions.
But the runs.
He rushed for 35 yards and 2 touchdowns.
I thought he played better than that. My bad.
Yeah. Against Mississippi State, 7 of 22 for 75 yards, 31% completion percentage.
Yeah, I mean, I think Payton Thorne's an upgrade. I don't think there's any doubt he's an upgrade. Is he perfect for Hugh Freeze's offense? I don't think if Hugh Freeze is drafting a quarterback, this is the guy he drafts.
No, but Walker
from
Wright,
the draft he has,
the guy who's coming next year fits what Hugh wants to do.
Yeah, I mean, this is like picking a quarterback in the NFL and you've got the 28th pick. You're not going to get the top guys out of the portal. I mean, you're going to have to draft what is there, and this is, if they get Payton Thorne, this is what is there.